Let's jump to this story from Timcast.com. Printful cuts ties with Gays Against Groomers. Group seeks legal action claiming defamation. Quote, we are looking into all of our options with our attorney, Ron Coleman, and intend to pursue legal action.
Hey, Ron.
You ready for this one? All right. Gays Against Groomers. This is an organization of LGBTQ people who oppose groomers. Anyone of any background who targets children to groom them. All right, here's the best part. Printful, on Sunday, who produced merchandise for the organization, suspended business with Gays Against Groomers to, quote, mitigate the risk of being affiliated with an organization that doesn't represent our company values. We do our best to remain neutral and respect freedom of speech. Yet we draw the line at content that foments hatred towards any person or group, reads an email. Let me break that down for you. Printful is explicitly saying on the issue of pedophilia, they are neutral and don't want to be associated with an organization that would disparage pedophiles.
Oops.
Hey, didn't Michael Jordan say that groomers buy sneakers too? Right? Am I getting that wrong? I might be getting that wrong.
I think
but hey, they're trying to tighten the market on the groomer market. It's a pretty big market out there, especially with Balenciaga and their marketing campaign, especially with the FBI and protecting Epstein for over 30 years, ditching the victims to the side. I mean, hey, this is a business trying to make money here, and let's call us a spade here. They want groomer money and they want to support.
Hold, you said it right there. Hold on a minute. Yeah. Imagine you make T-shirts, right? And you got these really wealthy individuals like Epstein and his clients. You don't want to lose those people. So Printful is upset that...
Yikes.
But look, we keep giving the benefit of the doubt whenever stories like this happen, and we're like, oh, they probably just assume Gays Against Groomer is anti-LGBTQ or something. And I'm like, no, you can't do that here. The organization is called Gays Against Groomers. Yeah. It's literally like people who are LGBTQ being like pedophiles are bad, and they're like, you're inciting hatred against them, so we're gonna be neutral on this one. Okay, Printful. Like Luke said, go hang out with Balenciaga, see how that's doing. See how it's working out for them.
Seriously. I mean, they only got a yay supporting Balenciaga. I don't know anyone else is supporting them. Seriously,
he still does wear Balenciaga,
and he made statements in favor of them recently. But other than that, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that a lot of people weren't happy with the way that they handled their marketing, and I think this is pretty obvious. I mean, the organization's name is Gays Against Groomers, and you're getting rid of their ability to sell merchandise because you don't agree with them. Their main thing that they do is that they're pushing against groomers, against people who hurt children. You're saying we don't like that. Yeah, we're neutral on that issue.
They try to pretend like it's not a real thing. It is absolutely a real thing. And you've seen them try to change the language and the narrative in academia, right? I'm sure you've heard of the acronym now. They use
minor.
Yes, MAPS, right?
So there's another statement. They said, we suspended Gays Against Groomers because the underlying homophobic and transphobic misinformation spread by this organization does not align with our values of respect and inclusion. Let us be clear that we do not condone child abuse or the grooming of minors. We will not work with an organization that spreads harmful accusations against the LGBTQ plus community under the guise of protecting children. You see what they're doing? Even if you are LGBTQ and you explicitly are just like, hey, it's the grooming of a problem with, they accuse you of being homophobic and transphobic. It's like, yo, they're literally gay. So let me show you something funny. Media Matters put out this thing. It's the retweets and mentions
Media Matters.
Right-wing figures anti-LGBTQ tweets and accounts before and after Musk acquired Twitter. Yeah, I'm number one. You can see Tim Pool right up top. I have 20,261 retweets that mention groomer, 31,153 mentions of the word groomer. What they don't tell you in this is that the tweets in question are me saying, quote, groomer does not refer to LGBTQ people. So I have like 3 tweets that got like tens of thousands of retweets or whatever, specifically saying that. They then take it and call that anti-LGBTQ because they're lying and manipulating. And for some reason, I just don't know why, Media Matters really wants people to believe that LGBTQ people are pedophiles. Now, I don't know why they would do that, but let me give you a really good example. Blair White is on the list. Blair White responded with like the clownery of me being on this list. Blair White is trans. This is absolutely insane. And gays against groomers is number 3. I just want to send my condolences to Jack Posobiec for being number 2. Sorry, Jack. There's a new game in town.
That's the first loser, right? Second place?
That's right, Jack. Second place is the first loser. But it's ridiculous.
I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. It's literally, considering the fact that it's gays against groomers, they're essentially saying that it's not about LGBT, it's about the left. And we're using LGBT people as a way to push forward our leftist agenda, not specifically the things that the LGBT people want, because gays against groomers are obviously LGBT and have a different political perspective. It's just that the left has taken on the mantle of LGBT, and anything that the LGBT lobby does is always the left. It's always associated with the left, or what the left wants.
I love simulism. Elon Musk was talking about simulation theory on stage, I guess, when he was getting booed or something. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you why, because I kind of have to just believe, I'm half kidding, by the way, that when I come out, and every statement I've given on this, every video I've done explicitly is about how groomer does not mean LGBTQ. But they keep saying it does. Yeah. They have to just be a bunch of like mobs, non-player characters roaming around randomly on the hillside, controlled by no one. Because like, I don't know how we're at the point where I go, oh, the word groomer doesn't in any way refer to LGBTQ people. They just immediately go, why are you calling gay people pedophiles? And I'm like, well, I literally just said the opposite. What are you talking about? That's where we're at right now. So look, in all reality, it's a cult, but it's hard for me to believe that even in a cult, they can hear you say, the sky is blue, and then they go, the sky's not green. And I didn't say it was. Where are you getting these ideas from? That's where we're at right now. How you solve for that, I have no idea. Maybe it's not even solvable.
I'm sure they've gone out and polled it and realized that we're on the right side of it. And, they're like, oh, we got to stop it. I mean, to me, it's just, you go back to when Trump saying fake news, fake media back 2016, 15, and they were like, this is made up. No, we're very, very on. And it turns out, of course, yes, there is fake news. That is a real thing. And
Chris Cillizza, are you familiar with the name Chris Cillizza?
He got fired from CNN.
Yeah. He has an immortal tweet, or a tweet that was immortalized. He one time tweeted, I'm going to say again for the 1,000th time or whatever, the media doesn't pick a side. And that tweet, and it has been, I have gotten a whole lot of mileage out of that bad boy, let me tell you. I got that saved in my phone.
Yeah.
And that thing has allowed me to perform some fun dunks. But it's true. Like, the media narrative is unquestionably a leftist narrative. There's no more room for denying it or arguing it. The Overton window of acceptable argument or acceptable debate has been set by the left, and anyone that steps outside of it is looked at as, untouchable. And the goal of the left is a whole cultural revolution in the United States. Like, are you familiar with James Lindsay? Mm-hmm. So I'm totally, I'm right on the same page with that guy. James Lindsay, Chris Rufo, those guys really I think they have their finger right on the pulse of the real heart of the problem. And the heart of the problem is that schools have been infiltrated by left-leaning people that have an ideology that they are using in education. And it's the schools of education. So it's not just your colleges, where kids are going. It's the schools that teach teachers. So these teachers that are coming out of the schools of education are indoctrinated into an ideology that they cannot even see. They are unaware that they are indoctrinated in it. They are completely unaware that they have been taken and given a framework to look at the world that is like putting on racism colored glasses or sexism colored glasses. Essentially, they're oppression colored glasses. And all they see in the whole world is oppression. And when you teach kids through a lens of oppression, you psychologically damage them, because young people should not be shown the world as a place that is full of oppression. Even if that's the case, that you can say, look, there's all kinds of different ways that people are oppressed, you don't tell 7-year-olds, because that emotionally damages them and they become they get depressed, and there's all kinds of horrible things. And you're seeing it in the levels of depression in young people nowadays. You've got so many people on SSRIs. It's because of the way that kids are taught in schools, and it's because of a left-leaning.
I'll give you a great example today. Today, I was at a high school giving an award to a teacher that actually cared, who's doing a great job in her school. And I walk into the school. Before I get in, I walk through the parking lot, and not really any bumper stickers on the cars except for 2 of them. And 2 of those cars parked right next to each other both had Bernie Sanders stickers, these kind of real left-wing slogans on it. And it's like, seriously?
What were the slogans?
I can't remember.
How left-wing? Because some left-wing slogans are slogans like, everybody deserves health care. And then there are other left-wing slogans like liberals get the bullet too.
Yeah.
So they're
bring
very
back Che.
different.
It wasn't that left-wing, but it was, you got Bernie on there. And then just this last week, I
think they're all that left-wing at the end of the day, though, is my point. Because it's a religion at the end of the day.
So I had a concerned group of parents came to me. Wood County, West Virginia, that's out in Parkersburg. And they said, and this is a very conservative county, they said, you won't believe what our children have access to. They showed me this material, all the children, and so it's something actually very, very similar to this. So
he's pointing to the
probably
book
actually is that book.
Yes, I think actually. Let me see.
Look inside. It's got the pictures.
Yeah. That's it.
That's the one.
That's the book, and that's the book that they have access to. And these parents, their children, because we were living in COVID and all that, people got iPads and all that, and that's how they were accessing books. And it's on the accessible reading list through the library for elementary school children. Elementary school children have access to this. I mean, what in the hell is going on here?
I can tell you.
And this is Wood County, West Virginia, which tells you it's probably happening all over the state. But it's just absolutely shocking stuff.
Tim, did you have something you wanted to say, or did?
I just want to. I'm pretty sure that YouTube age restricted the Project Veritas video from the Chicago teacher, which is kind of ironic since YouTube doesn't think it's okay for small children to watch when it literally happens to small children. Yeah. Which is absolutely mind-boggling.
Well, it's like when the parents came in and said, "I'm going to read you from this book." Start reading stuff, and then they're like, "Hey, you can't say that here. Order. If you keep talking, we'll kick you out." And they're like, "What? You made my kids read this book."
Yeah. The whole point of that is because it's as much as there are people that are worried about the LGBT issues, the LGBT issues in that are really a tertiary topic. The point is to make revolutionaries, to make kids that are unhappy with the way society is, because the Marxists call it cultural hegemony, right? Mm-hmm. It's the society remakes the society. So when you have kids that go to school that learn how to be good Americans, they go and they come out of school and they go into jobs and they become good Americans, and they make more kids that go to schools that learn how to be good Americans. What the left wants to do is get into the schools and stop having those kids that go in come out as good Americans. They want at least a portion of them to come out as radical leftist revolutionaries. And if you get a portion of them to come out like that, all you have to do is get a third or 10% or 20% of the population to be really, really upset, and that can uproot a whole civilization. Yeah. And that's the goal. The goal is a revolution, and anyone that tells you anything different is lying to you.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if this is in this book or not, but part of the material they brought, it's like 2 young guys, and here's how you satisfy your partner, and I mean, literally.
Yeah, but that just sows discord. Like I said, what's going on in there, the sexual stuff, that's tertiary.
Yeah, that's
right.
The point is the discord. The point is the fact that they're revolutionary. The point is they don't fall into categories that you would consider normal. They're not hegemonic categories. They become revolutionary. They're somehow subversive or whatever. Exactly, and if you can subvert the whole society, or if you can subvert a portion of the society to the point that they will foment a revolution, then you can uproot capitalism. Correct. Right, you can get rid of capitalism. You can get rid of what they would call hierarchies that are unfair, oppressive hierarchies, and the whole intent is to throw the whole system over and destroy it all, because they think that the system is illegitimate. They think capitalism, they think that owning property, they think that the reason that they're against free speech is because they don't believe that there is free speech. They believe that you're only trying to use speech as a way to exercise power.
Right. Well, look, and I do know people in West Virginia listen to this. We're fixing this next month in the legislature, so just hang tight.
I hope you're right, because this is James Lindsay. Like I said, I think he's on the right track, and if he is right, a cultural revolution in the United States, like the one that happened in China, it's going on right now. And kids are attacking their parents. And you see, you've got videos of kids screaming on college campuses, screaming at the teachers. That's the same thing that happened in China.
You see that woman who was at her dad's funeral or whatever? And
Yes.
attacking him?
Horrifying, but yes.
And it's the exact opposite of honor thy father and thy mother.
100%.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, in West Virginia, I run what's called the Hope Scholarship. So that's an educational savings account. And that has allowed kids to take their parents, their version of taxpayer dollars and use it outside of the public school system. It's educational freedom. In West Virginia, we also allow families to use that for homeschoolers. So homeschoolers can also it's their tax dollars. Let them use it and educate their children how they want to. And that is a way that we're able to get some of our kids here in the near future away from this stuff and get back control over this.
Homeschooling is key. It's very important, and millions of Americans are starting to do this.
You're right about homeschooling. I hate to throw water on what you were saying, but the video that Veritas just put up, that's a private school.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but this is why we have homeschool as a part of it.
Homeschool is important. Homeschool, because then I fully agree.
And we have a huge homeschool population in West Virginia, and it was very controversial, particularly with the teachers' unions, including homeschool students in this, but it is part of it. We also have a legislation that's under my purview also. So we got micropods, we have learning pods, and so you can get groups of homeschool kids come together and use what's called the Hope Scholarship, their tax dollars to be able to educate themselves free of all of this, and just parents coming together in what used to happen in this country in a very traditional manner, trying to get back to those things. I mean, the cultural left constantly wants to have a revolution every 5 years of what is a norm in this country, when to me, a lot of people are like, well, I'm a conservative. It's like, well, if you're conservative, what are you trying to conserve?
There was a point someone brought up on the show a while ago that the fact that our lives are dramatically different from our grandparents is unique to this time period.
Yeah.
And for all of human history, you and your grandparents had basically the exact same kind of life. It was population growth was stagnant. Your grandfather farmed, you farmed. Your grandfather was a blacksmith, you blacksmith. You very much live the same life now. With the rapid advancement of technology and energy technologies, our lives are completely different.
And culturally, though, Tim, there's a thing. It's called transmission, right? And it happens through generational things. Your parents have taught you, their parents taught them, and there's transmission of those norms, values, things like that. That each family has different norms, cultures, and values that they hold dear. That's all been blown up, right? I mean, to your point, this has all been destroyed, and it gets leveled out like every 5 years, and it gets lower and lower and lower the level that we're at.
Yeah. To continue the conversation about schooling, I think there's a reason David Rockefeller influenced our modern education system, which is really an indoctrination system. And now that he's no longer here with us, other individuals have kind of taken his mantle and are also influencing education. Those individuals are individuals like Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, that have spent hundreds of millions of dollars on new experimental education that has lowered reading levels, made students less intelligent as they're promoting more woke doctrines and equity. These are literally the policies that are being influenced right now by a lot of very powerful individuals setting up this education system, which is not really educating people at all, just indoctrinating them into the woke cult.
Yeah.
Well, let me.
And if you, sorry, just real quick though, you look at those national test scores, they are freaking abysmal. They are awful. I mean, it cannot get any worse. Well, I guess it could get worse, but this is the lowest it's been in decades. It is awful. And that is, I do want to point this out. If I am elected to Congress, if I get in, I'm going to be pushing for national school choice, just like we have in West Virginia. give people back control of their tax dollars to be able to educate their families, homeschool or otherwise. Somebody said to me the other day, wouldn't that destroy the Department of Education? I said, yes, exactly.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.